I like that. That's good.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to our show number 1033. Here we are in the middle of April, and
they're back.
They are back, but who are they? Well, they're the periodical cicadas. And they're coming back this spring in many eastern states, from Georgia to Ohio, New York, and Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Not to worry, they're not harmful. They don't bite. And for birds, they represent a spectacular feast. The downside, in connection with birds maybe, is that while the birds are busy gorging on the cicadas, they're distracted from the caterpillars on which many feed. Researchers at Georgetown University say that as a result, caterpillar populations boom when these big cicada broods appear, resulting in a lot of damage to, for example, oak tree leaves. Scientists have apparently not determined whether the leaf damage causes any long-lasting harm to the trees, but previous research did find that trees grow more slowly in the years during and immediately after a big cicada brood emergence. Some places starting this month and others in May and June. Last week's audio postcard was from the Rocky Mountains. Thank you, Kevin and Roxanne. Today's audio postcard comes from a mountain range a few thousand miles south of the Rockies. Here we go.
Hi, Ray. This is Doug Pfeiffer from Blacksburg, Virginia. Right now we're in the Colombian Andes in the middle of a lek of Andean cock of the rock. Lots of males vocalizing loud to each other. So far, no females. Great show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Doug, for those amazing Andean cock of the rocks there in the Andean mountains, the Andean mountains. Doug sent us a marvelous photo, by the way, of one of those Andean cock of the rocks, and we have it on our Facebook page right now and on our website, talkingbirds.com. Maybe on our Instagram page, too, but don't quote me on that. Well, back up north again, we have news about the annual Snow Goose Festival in Tofield, Alberta, Canada, April 26th and 27th, offering a great wonder of nature. Thousands of migrating snow geese and shorebirds and cranes and swans returning to the area. The festival will feature on-site guided bus and walking tours and a trade show and an evening banquet and a lot more. It sounds marvelous. And if you attend, be sure to look for the Bird Dreams table and say hello to our friend Ariane Inman and her crew, and check out their posters of birds with their native Michif names, as well as birding tours, info, and local bird art. That's the Goose Festival, the annual Snow Goose Festival in Tofield, Alberta, April 26th and 27th. It's an easy-to-remember website for all the info. It's just snowgoosefestival.ca, snowgoosefestival.ca. It's our mystery bird. Here's some clues about our mystery bird. The contest will be a little bit later on in the show. We play the clues and give info now, so you'll be kind of ready for the contest, so we'll be able to get to it prior to the end of the program. Our mystery bird is a small songbird with a dark-streaked brown back and whitish underparts with brown or blackish streaks on the breast and sides. It has a whitish crown and eyebrow stripes, and usually a small yellow patch just in front of the eye. Our bird winters in the southern U.S. and Mexico, and summers in much of the northern U.S. and Canada, and feeds mostly on seeds on or near the ground. It was named after a charming southeastern city by famed 19th century ornithologist Alexander Wilson, who happened to collect a specimen there. So, info about the mystery bird and the sound of the bird, and beautiful prizes await. Birding is a wildlife, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice style for comfort when out in the field. That's why we're happy to offer a $25 gift certificate for Bird Collective, your one-stop shop for vintage-inspired apparel and unique accessories, all featuring birds. And from fresh-cut paper, makers of beautiful life-size pop-up floral bouquets that are wilt-proof and crafted to last a lifetime, we have a certificate for 5 bouquets, and the new one is, or one of the new ones, is the Hummingbird Oasis bouquet. This one is really cool, brought to life with a kaleidoscope of hummingbirds that take flight with a gentle pull. Beautiful prizes. Contest coming along a little bit later on in the show, just kind of getting you ready for it here. And now here's a royal salute to another member of the royalty of the Talking Birds listening audience, and that is Jim from Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania. Jim says, I enjoy the show, especially the Mystery Bird Contest. I like being outdoors in all seasons, observing and learning about birds. Thank you so much, Jim, for becoming a Talking Birds ambassador, and we hope you'll inspire others to do the same as we try to continue growing our ambassadors family. They are indeed the royalty of our listening audience, as they help us get the word out about the show and help us spread the word about birds and conservation. To become an ambassador, just go to that website there. That's talkingbirds.com. No G in talking. Talkingbirds.com. Up at the top of the page, you'll see a little tab there that says Get Involved. If you click on there, you'll see how to become a Talking Birds ambassador, and we promise that being one and signing up are both very easy. Still to come today, we'll talk with Sue Schubel, a.k.a. Seabird Sue, about Hog Island Nature Camp and the science behind it. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for a Let's Ask Mike segment almost live from the archive about 2 very different warblers who do the same unusual thing. And up next, we won't present our usual featured Feathered Friends segment today because Mike Warren, who listens to Talkin' Birds on WCUW in Worcester, Massachusetts, and who hosts a great blues program there as well, told us that he had just learned about the James Bond bird connection, wondered if we knew about it, and it reminded us of a show segment we did some years ago entitled The Real James Bond. Here it is.
Good morning. My name's Bond. James Bond.
Bond. James Bond. My name is Bond. James Bond.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond. Good evening. My name is Bond. James Bond.
I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Well, who is or was the real James Bond? And we don't mean, is it Sean Connery or Daniel Craig? We mean the real person, whose name Ian Fleming appropriated for his fictional hero. Well, the real James Bond was born in Philadelphia in 1900, and he was a bird watcher. In fact, he was a professional ornithologist, an expert in Caribbean birds, and the author of the definitive book on that subject, Birds of the West Indies, first published in 1936. And guess who else was an avid bird watcher? Why, it was Ian Fleming himself. While living in Jamaica, Fleming chose the name James Bond because he said he wanted a name that was short, ordinary, and yet very masculine, and he got the real James Bond's permission to use it. In his novel Dr. No, Fleming referenced Bond's work by basing a large ornithological sanctuary on Dr. No's island in the Bahamas. In the 2002 Bond film Die Another Day, the fictional Bond, played by Pierce Brosnan, can be seen examining the book Birds of the West Indies with the author's name, James Bond, obscured. And in the same film, when Bond meets Jinx, played by Halle Berry, he introduces himself as an ornithologist. Meanwhile, a birding blog called The Fat Finch reports that a new James Bond film will be released in 2012. The new movie is as yet unnamed, but the Fat Finch folks think it should have a birding theme in honor of the real James Bond. Their suggested titles include Dippers Are Forever, Thunder Booby, The Man with the Golden Gull, and For Your Eiders Only. They think the leading villain should be a disillusioned ornithologist named Dr. Bittern. His evil henchman, named after the original producer of the Bond movies, would be Bufflehead Broccoli, whom Bond will eventually throw into Bittern's vulture pit. Eat your broccoli, boys. And so, now you know, Talkin' Birds listeners, dozens of novels and 23 Bond films grossing more than $12 billion all featured a dashing hero named for a birdwatcher from Pennsylvania.
You expect me to talk, Goldfinger? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to watch birds.
That's right. Watch birds, Mr. Bond. Keep yourself out of trouble. That's from the Talkin' Birds Vault. Thanks again to Mike Warren for mentioning that idea so we could bring that one back. Mike is on WCUW. You can listen to that station anywhere in Mike's Blues program at WCUW.org. Welcome again to our show, number 1033. Well, Seabird Sue Schubel has been the outreach educator for the Project Puffin Atlantic Puffin Restoration Project since 2000. During the Maine field season, she provides logistical support to island researchers and helps maintain the field camps there. She is the chief painter of decoys, which fly from the Audubon shop to conservation projects around the world. She has pursued avian paleontology in the Cook and Pitcairn Islands, archaeology in Micronesia, and seabird restoration in the Galapagos Islands and in California. She has even built sound systems to attract seabirds to safe locations from Asia to Bermuda. And somehow she has found time to join us here this morning on Talkin' Birds to talk about her work at the National Audubon Seabird Institute's Hog Island Audubon Camp on the coast of Maine. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Ray.
Wonderful to have you on, Sue. Back in February, we talked to Rosie Tucker about Hog Island Camp, which offers programming, by the way, for adults and teens and families, and taught by some of the world's best naturalists, ornithologists, and artists, and which draws folks from all over the U.S. and beyond. Now, I want to ask you, Sue, about a program in which you are an instructor, but first, for those who missed our chat with Rosie, I wonder if you'd give another quick overview about Hog Island Camp, along with the science aspect of it.
Well, Hog Island is a wonderful place. It was the first conservation camp in the country, begun in 1936. And it's on a 330-acre island, a beautiful island in Muscongas Bay. Originally, it was formulated to teach teachers at the beginning of the conservation era so they could spread the word widely to their students. And so people would come from all across the country, come in by train, and spend 2 weeks, actually, in those days on the island learning from eminent naturalists about island nature. And nowadays, we have usually week-long programs, and as you said, it's summer camp for adults. It's a really amazing place to connect with people who share your interests. And it's super fun. It's a beautiful spot to be. We have great food, great instructors. It's really a satisfying place.
Well, in August, you'll be an instructor in a program called Birds of Maine Islands, and it has a subtitle, A Service Week. Can you give us some details about that?
Yeah, so most of our sessions are just learning sessions, but this is one that spawned from a Rhodes Scholar program originally, and it's a service learning week. So people who want to get hands-on and contribute to our research islands. This is a chance for that. You get to spend about half your time learning about the science and the birds of the islands. And then it's late in the season, so a lot of our seabirds have left their nesting islands, and it's a chance for us to go out, weather permitting, and do some vegetation management and work on structures that the researchers use to really do some hands-on work to help birds and researchers out in the field.
Mm-hmm. And then some folks can become puffineers. Is that what is that?
We have a volunteer program. We have a limited number of spots to come out during the summer, during breeding season, to help do the research. We have a small team of researchers stationed on each of our 7 seabird islands, and then during the height of the season, we have a spot for a volunteer on many of the islands.
Mm-hmm. All right, Talking Birds listeners, it's the middle of April already, so if you'd like to consider attending one of the marvelous programs at Hog Island on the beautiful coast of Maine, now is the time to get on board for this summer. Several programs already sold out. Here's the website. For all the info, hogisland.audubon.org, hogisland.audubon.org, or just do a search for Hog Island. And we have just a minute left, Sue. Maybe you could just tell us the story quickly of the name Seabird Sue.
Well, Puffin Pete began our education program long ago, and when he was ready to hand off the winter work to someone else, I was trying to persuade him it should be me. He said, but Puffin Sue doesn't sound too good. I said, well, Seabird Sue. And thus a legend was born.
All right. A beautiful transition from Puffin Pete to Seabird Sue. Sue, best wishes for a wonderful Hog Island camp season with all your other work. And thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
Sue Schubel, a.k.a. Seabird Sue, here on Talking Birds. And up next, it's our Mystery Bird Contest in just 1 minute. The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com. Here we are at the Mystery Bird Contest. Very soft-spoken bird. And it's a small bird, a small songbird, with a dark-streaked brown back and whitish underparts with brown or blackish streaks on the breast and sides. It has a whitish crown and eyebrow stripes, and usually a small yellow patch just in front of the eye. Our bird winters in the southern U.S. and Mexico and summers in much of the northern U.S. and Canada. Feeds mostly on seeds on or near the ground. It was named, this is a little bonus hint, I guess, it was named after a charming southeastern city by famed 19th century ornithologist Alexander Wilson, who collected a specimen there. We could say which state that is in if we need to, but for now, we'll just say a charming southeastern city. Those are the clues and the sound of the bird, and beautiful prizes await, including a $25 gift certificate for Bird Collective, your one-stop shop for vintage-inspired apparel and unique accessories, all featuring birds. And beautiful life-size pop-up floral bouquets. We have 5 of them here as another prize in our Mystery Bird Contest. So give us a call and tell us what you think that bird is at 781-837-4900. That number again is 781-837-4900. Meanwhile, Mike O'Connor will be here with us almost live from the archive. Let's ask Mike in just 1 minute. Hog Island Audubon Camp has welcomed nature enthusiasts to its shores since 1936. It's a program of the Seabird Institute, and the island hosts 5-night sessions for adults, teens, and families taught by the world's leading naturalists, ornithologists, and artists. Hog Island campers deepen their relationships with the birds and the ecosystems around them during the island's immersive educational camps. New for the 2025 camp season is Let's Go Birding Together. Scheduled during peak fall migration, this session is a safe space for queer birders to connect with nature and each other while learning ways to foster a similar environment in their community's home. For full Hog Island schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org. It's Mike O'Connor, not O'Connor, but O'Connor, down at the famous Birdwatchers General Store on Cape Cod. He's going to tell us about 2 warblers that use nest boxes. I believe it's the box-building warbler and the nest boxer warbler, but I'm probably wrong about that. Good morning, Mike.
No, you're right. That's it.
That was it. All right. Mike will be back with us next week again here. We'll have things going much more smoothly again as well.
I love the stream of blooper shows. These are awesome. I love
it's becoming kind of a specialty here the last few weeks. Yeah.
Anyway, you're right. We talk about nest box birds, and surprisingly, only a few birds use bird houses or nest boxes that we put up. And we, of course, we think about house wrens or house sparrows or bluebirds, chickadees, and purple martins, for example, use man-made dwellings. But surprisingly, of all the warblers that nest in North America, 50 some odd, only 2 will actually use a man-made thing or a birdhouse that we can put up to help attract them. And the 2 species are like unbelievably polar opposites. The first one, prothonotary warbler, which lives in the southeastern part of the states, loves the swampy kind of shade, thick areas along water to build it, to nest in, and they'll go in typically woodpecker holes. But if you live in that area and you put up just a traditional square, boring birdhouse or nest box with an 1.25 inch hole, they'll happily take that. And these birds, if you get one, they're just unbelievably colorful. I'm telling you that the male yellow is brighter than the sun. It's just a stunner to see, and it's well worth the effort to get it, or if it's just for a bird to see one, but to get one in your yard. The other species, the Lucy's warbler, is the opposite. It's in the desert southwest. It loves the arid, dry, sparse area, and because things are a little bit dull and gray there, it's a dull and gray bird. Not the color of the prothonotary. It does have a little bit of a cinnamony color on its tail and crest, but sometimes you can't even see that. And they like things in the arid area. And their nest boxes, and I think your friends at the Tucson Audubon have kind of pioneered this. They put up a box that looks less like a square rectangle box, more like a lean-to. It's got an opening in the front and the back, and the birds kind of gravitate towards that. And if you live in that area, you pull one up, you're probably going to get one of these birds. And they sell these kind of funky bird houses at Tucson Audubon on their website. I was looking, and they're $12, which $12 is like nothing. That's like David Clapp prices. I couldn't believe how cheap they are.
You don't have anything in your store for $12.
Not even. We won't even answer a question for $12. Yeah, so that's that. Those are 2 opposite birds that you can get as different. And the Lucy's warbler, surprisingly, probably is going to have its name changed because it's named after, Lucy from the Peanuts character. No, it's named after the daughter of one of the early Smithsonian ornithologists was given that name. And now she's probably a sweet woman somewhere in the world, but she's probably going to lose her name when they change all the names. So, if you live in those areas, the thornetary warbler in the southeast, or if you live out in the desert southwest, put out a little triangle box for the Lucy's warbler.
All right.
And that'll be very exciting. If you've never seen one of these birds, you should, but if not, look it up, because you'll be stunned how pretty it is. And happy Earth Day, everybody. Get out and do something good.
Happy Earth Day, Mike. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds groovy. Okay,
all right.
See you later. Bye.
Mike O'Connor from the archive there mentioning Earth Day. Of course, this is Earth Month all through April, and Earth Day this year, 2025, is on April 22nd. And we'll talk more about that on the show very soon.
What's one of your favorite memories?
That's a tough question. Well, there was this one time I went camping with my parents in a forest back when I was maybe like 8 or 9. And I can remember one night we were laying out in our hammocks and we were just, watching the trees rustling in the wind above us, and we could hear the sounds of the forest all around us. Frogs singing and owls calling and the creek running nearby. It was amazing. It felt like we were a part of it all. I don't know if I do it justice trying to describe it, but I'll definitely never forget it.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
We're back to the mystery bird contest and seeing who can identify this bird. A small songbird with a dark streaked brown back, whitish underparts with brown or blackish streaks on the breast and sides, and a small yellow patch just in front of the eye. And Ruby is in Richford, Vermont, with an answer or a guess for us. We'll see. Good morning, Ruby.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the show, Ruby, and thanks for calling in. And what do you think our mystery bird is?
I think it's a Savannah sparrow.
A Savannah sparrow? You're saying that with a little trepidation, perhaps, but you are absolutely right.
Yes!
Oh. Nice job. Yes, Savannah sparrow, absolutely right. That city we mentioned, the charming southeast city, is, of course, Savannah, Georgia. That's where the name came from. Let's see. I think we don't have time for a bonus question, I don't think. But thank you so much again, Ruby. If you'll stay on the line there, and Jesse will get your info, and we'll send you those beautiful prizes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ruby. Correctly identifying the Savannah sparrow as our mystery bird. We wanted to make sure we have just a little bit of time before we go to offer a big thank you to our friends at Ocean State Bird Club, who offered yours truly and our show a very warm welcome at their annual meeting yesterday. They're in beautiful Bristol, Rhode Island at the Audubon Society of Rhode Island's Nature Center and Aquarium. Special thanks to Michael Gow for his wonderful hospitality, as well as to our friends Candy and Chris Powell, and to Gino Ellison for his marvelous presentation about his 2023 North American Big Year, in which he found and ID'd more than 800 species in one calendar year. Do a search for Gino Ellison, because he's doing a lot of presentations all around the country, I think. I don't want to speak for him, but I think that might be right. So, but check him out. He's quite amazing, and what a presentation that was. That is it for our show this morning. Since we're finished with today, we'll get to work on our next show. And thanks to our amazing Talking Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor, and our producing engineer, Jesse Wilkins. I'm Ray Brown, and we'll see you next week.
The bird show, I like that.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, Visit hogisland.audubon.org.